New polling shows Senator Elizabeth Warren's support surging while Vice President Joe Biden appears to be slipping, and Andrew Yang beaten Mayor Pete.
Team Rising is here to take a look at those numbers. Dawn Calloway, Democratic strategist, CEO of Pine Street Strategies.
So excited you're
Chris
here.
Prudhomme is a Republican strategist. Welcome to you both.
Gentlemen.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Sager.
In particular for joining. Well, everybody calls me that anyway, so, you know.
It's true.
All right, we got to start off with this Emerson poll. I mean, this is just rocking the world here. Andrew Yang is beating Pete Buttigieg, number 4th in the Democratic primary.
Yeah.
4th preference is the Emerson poll, same polling firm which had Andrew Yang beating Kamala Harris. Don, why is Andrew Yang at 8%?
I don't know. I love Andrew Yang unequivocally. He is a substantive human being. He's a smart guy.
Our YouTube commenters are about to love you unequivocally.
Yeah, right.
That's good. You know, he's just a substantive guy, and he is the lesser-known non-politician Elizabeth Warren. He comes to every topic with substantive expertise. He's putting forth real solutions. UBI is being seen as less radical over time as some counties and even municipalities begin to actually implement it, and it makes sense. You know, he has a sensible, cognizant discussion for pretty much every substantive topic. So he's a very serious individual, unlike Marianne Williamson, who both were kind of the political outsiders.
I like Marianne.
I love Marianne.
I
like
have
her,
some
but,
issues with her, but I think she brings something very different to the
She does.
Let's just focus on Andrew.
She brings something different, but I don't know that she was like a serious, you know.
Sure.
She's a best-selling author. She's a very accomplished woman.
Fair enough.
All right. No, I mean, I think the thing with Andrew that to me is very interesting is what it says about our political moment, that someone who's never worked in politics before, never run for office at all before, could be jumping ahead of senators, governors, mayors who are the darling of Wall Street and Silicon Valley. There is something very real and authentic about his appeal and about, I think, as Don puts it, the fact that whatever you think of his particular policy solution, he offers it in a very serious and thoughtful way. He's grappling with one of the biggest issues of our time, and he's using fundamentally facts and numbers rather than spin to make the case.
Absolutely right. I think it's obviously I'm not supporting the other side, but I think he's very engaging. It's funny because I was on the phone with my banker the other day, and I was like, "Hey, who you supporting?" He's like, "You know, Chris, Andrew Yang, I really like him." I'm like, what? Is all of us in the bank are talking about him? I'm like, really?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I do, to that point, I think he is very engaging. I think he's sincere and genuine. And it kind of reminds me of when you look at, well, in certain ways, when you look at President Trump in 2016, being the outsider, being the non-political person, I think there's a certain amount of authenticity that Andrew Yang has, and that resonates with people.
Well, that's the thing. What I've looked at, too, is he's just such a relentlessly positive person that I think in this like age of impeachment and like all this going on, I've actually went in and looked at some of his supporters. They were talking about this. What they like the most about Yang is he's got the most crossover support amongst Trump supporters, and that so much of his campaign is not built on demonizing the other side that I think there is really something to be said that it's about like, he's like, I won't do it. He doesn't play negativity. He's always laughing, joking, and all that. I think that's very much why he's at this 8%, and it's something that maybe the rest of the field could learn from him. Ultimately, what do you think the long-term play here is? Do you think that Andrew Yang has a vice presidential slot if he doesn't make it to the nomination?
I don't really see that. I mean, I think that part of, if he stopped today, he has won, right? I don't think Andrew Yang runs to be the president or to win the presidency. If he stopped today, he has won. He's introduced substantive ideas.
Completely.
He's introduced smart concepts, and he's shown that somebody from outside of the process can kick in the door.
Can I just say, though, I actually think him being on the stage this last debate has been a little bit of a tipping point for his campaign because the media has been so dismissive of him. It's been unbelievable. I mean, they either completely ignore him or when they bring him up, it's like as a punchline to a joke, not as a serious presidential candidate. But when you are on the stage with all the big dogs in that select group, it has changed the nature of some of the media coverage, and I think it's changed the way that people have been treating him in their minds. They're looking at him as more of a serious presidential candidate.
Well, when you look at the last debate as well, to me, I was a little disappointed because he made the comment right there about the $1,000, right, which I thought was good, and then you can kind of tell they all kind of ganged up on him, kind of teamed up on him.
They're laughing at him.
People laughed at him.
It was just like, come on, guys.
Like people on the stage laughed at him.
It's almost like there's a bit of kind of intimidation. It's a slight bit, and it's just like, come on, guys. I mean, he's being authentic. He's being himself. He's just
He's
doing
offering
what it is.
something new.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't
We
know
should
what
be
to do with
laughing at
that.
Pete Buttigieg, not the other
We
way
do.
around.
Well,
Yeah. I do. Don't worry.
And there are several others under
Yeah.
Pete Buttigieg who are far more establishment individuals
Right.
than him. Let's be clear. At this point, full stop, Andrew Yang has succeeded. He
Yeah.
has beaten multiple United States senators and governors at this point to date.
It's remarkable.
So it's
All
remarkable.
fun and
individual.
games till Andrew Yang passes you in polls. That's
Right.
sweet,
Yeah,
which I
that's
love. There's also a new poll out just this morning from Quinnipiac that has
Big deal.
Yeah, this is a big deal. I mean, it shows Elizabeth Warren moving into that first place position, Joe Biden slipping down. I mean, look, the margin of error is 5 percentage points, so effectively they are tied. But Don, the momentum for Warren seems to be real, and Biden seems to be not completely holding up here.
Right. So at this point, we know senior leadership in each of the major campaigns, and my firm has advised senior leadership in all of the campaigns, and it has been very clear to us as an established pattern over the last 90 days that she is running the best campaign. And again, bringing substantive ideas, expressing them very clearly. She only had one moment in that answer on race that I thought she was kind of wobbly, but she has been consistent and she has been thorough for, this is a marathon, right? So people are going to have breakout moments, people are going to have fallback moments, but she has been the most consistently competent.
I mean, I think
slow and steady.
target.
The one thing I'll say, though, is that you cannot have this discussion without comparing it to liberals absolutely beating up Joe Biden consistently over the last 60 days, and also some discussion of what has been his possible cognitive decline that we've seen it, and that's starting to be talked about, and we're looking for an alternative, and Warren looks to be the person.
Well, I think Warren very much has a target on her back walking into this next debate. I mean, when you rise up to that top, she's now reaching Joe Biden level status.
Go after her,
Something
though.
that I've really been wondering about is whether the Pocahontas thing is going to come up eventually, because the Clinton emails, it did start to come up with her in the latter debates with Bernie, even though Bernie decided that he didn't want to touch it. But when you reach that front runner status, Joe Biden has been questioned about many of his own problems. Do you think Elizabeth Warren will start to be from some of her opponents? What do you think, Chris?
So I think initially no, but I think there's a lot of time left.
Yeah.
You look at 2016, and everybody thought Jeb Bush was the guy, so to speak.
of
And
course.
so I think there's a lot of time. But I do think at some point, yes, she will reach her point, and obviously they will start to say, okay, what can we say? And I think she has a lot to still answer for. Of course, she has apologized in the Native American comments, but
I think if I was giving advice, I don't think the way to go after her is on the heritage stuff, which I think will backfire on any Democrat. I think there's a big question about electability and whether she can appeal either to Obama-Trump voters, or her weakest demographic has been sort of the multiracial working class. Those are the people we need to turn out in great numbers to be able to win. So to me, that's the question mark for Elizabeth Warren. We'll continue talking about it.
Sit tight.
Stick with us. We got more Rising just after this.